Coming up on First at 4, several school districts are closed today due to illnesses. We'll talk to a parent in Clay County. And in Frankfort, the Senate Education Committee passes a bill to require school resource officers to carry guns.
And soggy weather returns to the mountains tonight and continues tomorrow. First at 4 is next.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we begin with a traffic alert. Interstate 75 in Laurel County has just reopened after a tractor trailer overturned. Deputies with the Laurel County Sheriff's Department tell us it happened at mile marker 46 north of London and caused quite a traffic backup, as you can imagine, for some time. Now, only minor injuries were reported. A portion of the interstate was closed for more than an hour, but again, we've just been told it is open again. Combs Road in Perry County is back open near Airport Gardens following a head-on crash. Details are still limited, but dispatchers tell us there were injuries in both vehicles. We do know a medical helicopter was requested. The crash closed the road for around an hour, but again, Combs Road is also back open. Schools across southern and eastern Kentucky are dismissing for the remainder of the week to avoid the spread of sickness. In Clay County, they're taking their second 4-day weekend in a row, hoping kids will get healthier. WYMT's Will Puckett has more from Manchester.
Clay County schools are not in session for the remainder of the week due to student sickness. This is all a precaution because of the drop in attendance due to kids having the flu and other wintertime sicknesses. We caught up with a parent who has multiple students in the Clay County School District. She gives kudos to the district for canceling school for the remainder of the week because when her kids get sick and bring it home, they get incredibly sick.
All of them is bad, but the flu, my 13-year-old who has epilepsy, don't end up in a doctor's office, as he says. He ends up in the hospital. And now we're dealing with Billy, and Billy has been numerous times had strep, already had the flu this year. He don't bounce back. When they're sick and they're weak, they don't bounce back like the rest of us do.
Now, Clay County actually canceled classes last Friday, hoping with the holiday on Monday, that 4-day weekend would be enough to get students healthy. It was not, so they're going to take a stab at another 4-day weekend, hoping kids are healthy enough to come back and ready to learn next Monday. In Clay County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
And as you can see at the bottom of your screen, several other school districts will be closed tomorrow. You can find the latest list also on WYMT.com. Clay County expects to be back in session next Monday. Several athletic events are also canceled due to sickness.
Well, we saw maybe a little bit of sunshine earlier this morning, but really we've been dealing with those cloudy skies and the rain chances. Well, they're knocking on our front door. We'll take you up to Interstate 75 over into London. They've seen some light showers this afternoon, and it'll become a little bit heavier as we head into tonight. But looking over into Jackson, they're dry right now, 53 degrees, a lot warmer than we have been the past few days, so not feeling too bad out there. But that sunshine is making it feel a little bit more on the chilly side. You can see those rain chances starting to increase back towards I-75. Those lighter greens, not 100% sure. We saw all of that fall to the ground, but you're seeing those darker greens, especially over to central Kentucky. That's going to continue to move into all of our area and bring those soggy conditions back into the mountains for tonight. You'll want to keep that WYMT weather app handy with you tonight, and even as we head into the weekend, it's going to be a little bit of a messy one. Showers continue throughout the night. They become heavier, especially as we head into your Friday, even into your Friday morning, and then we could be talking about the possibility a little bit of a wintry mix as we head into the weekend. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. Testimony began today in a Perry County murder trial that's taking place in Knott County. James McIntosh is accused of killing Danny Mullins. While hearing testimony this morning, McIntosh visibly cried in the courtroom. Jurors heard recordings from the day of the arrest, and during those interviews, McIntosh told police he shot around 11 times and then tossed the gun in the river. His attorneys claim he acted in self-defense. They argue texts sent from Mullins to his wife showed he intended to hurt McIntosh.
I'm going to beat his brains out unless he wants a gunfight. We can do that too.
What time is that?
2:54.
And so now we're we're within an hour now, right?
Yes.
And that basically says, I've got a gun, and I intend to beat his brains in, at least.
I just read what he has to read.
Prosecutors submitted 4 phones, DNA, and bullet fragments as evidence. We will have more from today's testimony tonight at 6. A school safety bill passed a state Senate committee today. It requires school resource officers to carry a gun and more mental health services for students. As WYNT's Phil Pendleton reports, the vote comes on the 2-year anniversary of a deadly school shooting in western Kentucky.
It is Senate Bill 8, and it would do a number of things, but basically it would revise the School Safety and Resiliency Act that passed the legislature last year. One of the key components making sure that every school resource officer would carry a firearm. Now, sponsor and committee chair Max Wise says they listened to superintendents about the need for a district safety coordinator and 1 SRO per defined campus. It has more collaboration with mental health professionals and would offer services to students dealing with everything from suicide prevention to prevention of bullying. The bill passed without anyone speaking against it, and every committee member voted yes. Many of the aspects came in the wake of the deadly Marshall County High School shooting, which happened exactly 2 years ago today.
We had no, in terms of timeline, of having it be on this day for this bill. But, you know, once again, I think Senator Danny Carroll said it best. You know, we don't need to forget about the date of that anniversary. Our prayers and our thoughts are continue to be with the Hope and Cope families and the entire community down there.
Chairman Wise said he didn't know how much these school safety initiatives were going to cost. He says they are waiting on the budget proposal. The governor is expected to give his budget proposal next Tuesday night. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
The bill next goes to the full Senate floor. It is day 3 of President Donald Trump's impeachment trial. Senators are sitting silently through the marathon trial sessions, but outside the chamber, they have been weighing in. Democrats and even a few Republicans praise the House managers on their presentations so far.
I found yesterday's testimony by the House managers riveting.
I thought they did a good job of taking bits and pieces of the evidence and creating a quilt out of it.
So far, no indication, though, any Republicans are changing their minds. President Trump will spend part of Thursday evening at a Republican Party event in Florida as House managers continue to argue their case. Chinese health officials are racing to contain a mysterious illness that's killed at least 17 people. The Wuhan strain of the coronavirus infected hundreds of people in at least 6 countries, including the U.S. In Washington state, the nation's first infected patient is recovering. Health officials say he's in good condition, but is concerned about his contact with others.
Now there are at least 16 identified close contacts. Local health departments started reaching out to them yesterday.
Now, the World Health Organization said today the illness is not a global health emergency yet. A host of the nightly PBS NewsHour has died. PBS says Jim Lehrer died today. Lehrer and Robert McNeil began the nightly reports on PBS in 1975. The show featured detailed reports and discussions about politics, international relations, and even the arts. McNeil stepped down from the show in 1995. Lehrer was also a frequent moderator of presidential debates. He was 85. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Thursday afternoon. The Dow closes down today more than 15 points. We are getting closer to the end of time. Well, at least that's what scientists who evaluate several key factors are saying. Today's reset of the doomsday clock symbolizes growing global concerns. The bulletin of the atomic scientists say the doomsday clock warns us about how close we are to destroying the Earth. Midnight on the clock symbolizes the end of the world. And now the hand is hovering just 100 seconds out. The main factors that determine how close we are to midnight: the threat of nuclear weapons and climate change. The last time the clock was reset was in 2018 to 11:58 p.m. Straight ahead, 3 United States firefighters are dead after lending a helping hand in Australia.
And more rain is on the way, but how long will it last? I'll have that answer coming up.
There's many great